Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. It has been an emotional day in Devonport where a health and safety charge against the Hillrest jumping castle operator has been dismissed. The magistrate's decision prompting an emotional outburst from parents when it was ruled Rosemary Gamble could not have reasonably avoided the tragedy.
Tears from shocked parents leaving court after a minute-long session, ending with Magistrate Robert Webster telling Rosemary Gamble she was free to go. Not satisfied beyond a reasonable doubt that she had failed to discharge her health and safety duty in December 2021 when her jumping castle was whipped into the air by a dust devil at Hillrest Primary School, killing Zane Mellor, Jalila Jane Marie Jones, Chase Harrison, Addison Stewart, Jai Sheehan and Peter Dott.
I've been broken for a long time and I think I'm going to be broken for a long more.
Over 10 days last year, the court heard complex testimony from expert witnesses and accounts from those who set up the castle that day. Only 4 pegs were used to secure it to the ground when 8 anchor points were provided. The magistrate, however, finding that had all 8 been used, it wouldn't have avoided the tragedy, calculating 33 pegs would have been needed to withstand the dust devil. And while the 130-page judgment finds that in some respects Rosemary Gamble failed to comply with her health and safety duty, the failure was not a substantial cause of the children's deaths, saying Miss Gamble could have done more, but given the unforeseeable dust devil, it would have made no difference to the outcome.
When a system fails to deliver accountability for the deaths and injuries of children, it doesn't just fail our families, it fails justice itself.
Outside court, Miss Gamble sobbed as a lawyer read a statement on her behalf, saying she understands people will have a hard time forgiving her.
I'm a mother. I can only imagine the pain that other parents are living with each and every day because of this terrible thing that happened. Their loss is something I will carry with me for the rest of my life. I never meant for anything like this to happen, and I'm just so sorry that it did.
While still grieving families begin to process today's decision and continue their fight for justice.
I think our hope's just shattered now. At the end of the day, all I wanted was an apology for my son not coming home, and I'm never going to get it, and that kills me.
Nick Kelly has been covering this case since it started and he joins us from the Magistrates Court in Devonport. Nick, while there is a verdict on this matter, the legal proceedings are not over yet.
Well, firstly, Kim, a coronial inquiry has been on hold, awaiting for these criminal proceedings to be finalised. And now that this decision has been handed down today, and provided that there is no appeal, the coroner can now begin its investigation into what went wrong. And the families have been very vocal that they want that to be a public inquest. There's also a civil suit being lodged in the Supreme Court, a class action alleging negligence against both the ride operator and the Tasmanian Education Department.
We can show and prove that people have to take safety precautions when they are supplying equipment and goods to a school for children. These parents send their kids to school to be safe and to be returned home.
Meanwhile, the Tasmanian government is also working to finalise plans for a memorial honouring the victims.
This is a profoundly difficult time for the Hillrest Primary School community and for our beautiful Northwest Coast community.
It's certainly been a challenging day for those close to the case, Kim, and while this is a step forward, there is still quite a long road ahead.
Oh, definitely that. Thank you very much, Nick Kelly. Well, who our future Tasmanian leaders will be remains in limbo tonight after this week's turbulent no confidence motion in current Premier Jeremy Rockliff. He laid low today in Devonport while commentators ponder possible scenarios and politicians prepare for what could be yet another election.
It started with the threat of a no-confidence motion against the Premier and ended with Jeremy Rockliff sticking to his own threat of an early election, the explosive game of chicken plunging Parliament into crisis.
This is pretty unusual. We've had motions of no confidence in in premiers before that have passed, but the most recent ones we've known what the ending of that will be.
This time we don't.
The question now is whether the Parliament can find an alternative Premier who will command the support of the Parliament, but it is not clear that any such person exists.
The Liberals are still backing in their embattled leader, while Labor's standing firm against doing a deal or forming a coalition with the Greens.
Labor's agenda does not align with the Greens in any way, shape or form.
Meaning Tasmanians are likely heading to the polls sooner than expected, for now, but the Greens are keeping the door open.
Dean Winter has got choices here. He moved the vote of no confidence. He has a choice not to send Tasmanians to an election that is utterly avoidable.
As the blame game takes hold,
all of these things are down to Jeremy Rockcliffe now.
The government pointing the finger back at the opposition, while one of the crossbenchers who voted against the Premier takes aim.
I'm not going to be played for a fool. I'm not going to be ignored. My constituents expect our issues to be resolved, and it's squarely back at the feet of this government.
Independent David O'Byrne, who opposed the motion, argues Labor's move will do little to nothing to fix the issues they've raised. If an early election is officially called, it would make this term of Parliament the second shortest in Tasmania's history. The shortest was over a century ago. The Premier is expected to meet with the Governor next week to make the call. Anthony Dodd, 7 Tasmania News.
Star AFL players have unleashed on the political instability and the threat it places on the Devils team, accusing Dean Winter of putting the dream on a knife edge. The opposition leader coming under fire for his role in the saga, as the Prime Minister has his say on the stadium stoush.
Nick Riewoldt kicking a Winter warning shot.
This thing falls over, and it's on his head. It has to be. That would keep me up at night. That's the reason he's still awake.
The AFL star unleashing on the opposition leader, blaming him for putting the Devils in doubt.
To make this move a month out from getting the green light, it would just be an incredibly bizarre move, incredibly frustrating. I hope Dean Winter's got a plan.
Nick, not the only Riewoldt weighing into the saga.
It's been 40 years in the making, and this is just continually grinding us down.
Holding on to hope the dream is far from over.
We're not getting it given to us. We are earning this product that is the Devils, the 19th licence.
But the timeline for entering the competition quickly blowing out.
The AFL, I believe, will have question marks on whether the team can enter in 2020. I think the pushback to 2029 or beyond is well and truly alive.
The footy fallout also reaching the Prime Minister.
I support a Tassie team very strongly.
Who, despite the hefty price tag, still backs the stadium's strength.
A stadium is a good idea if it is a part of, which it is, a whole urban redevelopment project.
Victoria Risto, 7 Tasmania News.
A 15-year-old boy has been charged over a shocking alleged carjacking last month. A delivery driver says he was completing a job at Gagebrook when he was held at knife point and robbed of his car, cash and mobile phone. The Bridgewater youth is accused of more than a dozen offences, including aggravated armed robbery and motor vehicle stealing, as well as drugs and assault charges. 2 tourists are missing in Tasmania and police are appealing for public help. Brisbane couple Leandra Kang and Takahiro Toya, both in their 20s, were last seen leaving North Hobart on Tuesday and believed to have been in the St Helens Scamander area recently, travelling in a white Toyota Corolla. The pair missed a flight from Launceston on Wednesday and haven't returned their rental car. Anyone with information is urged to contact police. Tasmania's emergency services are showing their support for the community in more ways than one, kicking off a 3-month blood drive. Together, they're using a little healthy competition boost supply with a target of more than 500 donations.
It's no secret blood saves lives. And inside this donor centre, lifesavers are in abundance. Martin is one. He rolls up his sleeve every 2 weeks to donate.
Plasma gets turned into stuff like we're treating leukemia, people are really sick with heart surgery and stuff, so, for me it's no big deal.
The blood goes to cancer patients, it goes to people who have blood disorders, it goes to people who are requiring surgery, those who've had car accidents and injuries, to mums delivering babies.
But it's not just Martin doing his bit. Emergency services personnel are answering the call to arms, saving lives on the job and off it.
If you're fit and well, what a lovely gesture to be able to provide blood in support of those in our community who are not travelling so well.
It has the influence of, assisting 3 additional people that may be having traumatic events.
And there's a friendly rivalry brewing. Which agency can deliver the most donations?
Over the last couple of years, the Tasmanian Fire Service has won the challenge.
We might be able to knock the Fireys off their podium.
The SES is actually probably the winner out of the blood challenge. We're the smallest organisation, but we punch well above our weight.
While the competition heats up, Lifeblood has a serious message.
We have seen our lowest O negative and O positive rates since June 2023.
As for Martin, he's got a system to stay on track.
I actually timed it so that I come in here and I put my recycle bin out every second Friday, so it reminds me to put my recycle bin out.
Because in the end, every drop counts. Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmanian News.
Ski season has come early at a popular Tasmanian winter destination. Ben Lomond looking a picture as it opens for the long weekend with high hopes for a bumper year.
Winter 2025 is officially underway. A flurry of activity in the last 48 hours to provide conditions fit for a king's birthday.
This is our first time in Tasmania and this was one of our bucket lists to visit.
It's too cold, but we are enjoying the snow.
Ben Lomond, one of the first resorts in the country to open the season on the Friday of the long weekend.
We've been in planning for the last 3 or 4 months to open up a little bit earlier than all the other resorts on the mainland, and it came true.
The resort says bookings are solid for the weekend, with visitors coming in from all over the country during the season.
They come from everywhere. Mainland, we get a lot of people from Queensland, West Australia, South Australia.
There's been plenty of work during the off-season to deliver an enjoyable experience.
And there's been a new boardwalk put in by Parks, which has just been completed. It's been a fantastic investment by the National Parks and ourselves as well. So we've done some upgrades to our lift and snowmaking infrastructure.
The ski lift is fired up and the cannons have been blazing away for the last 2 days, providing plenty of cover on the slope, but all eyes have turned to the skies in the hope of some natural falls.
And there's some snow coming through in the forecast, so anywhere between maybe 10 to 50 centimetres that's predicted over the next 2 or 3 days.
And as always, some advice for visitors to ensure they're properly prepared.
Make sure you bring plenty of warm gear, and if you're planning on venturing far from the village, make sure you bring food and drinks.
Matthew Watson, 7 Tasmanian News.
Tasmanians on the east coast, Lady Barron Island and Flinders Island are being asked to mind their water usage as Stage 1 restrictions remain in place. With continuing dry conditions and above average demand so far this year, Taswater is concerned about declining dam levels. Restrictions have been placed at Orford and Tribunna since early April. Some rainfall is expected though across much of the state in coming weeks. Well, a Hobart Basketball Centre is providing the ultimate assist to Scouts Tasmania, helping reduce waste and raise money at the same time. New recycling rewards donation bins have been set up courtside to ensure the Scouts' legacy of adventure lives on.
Rover Scout Raphael is landing buckets in bins, teaming up with Swisher Hoops Academy to tackle plastic recycling by installing new recycle rewards donation points. And it's the perfect spot. Basketball training can be thirsty work.
One of the things that Swisher here has problems with is the fact that a lot of bottles and cans have just been lying around and have to be picked up by the staff.
As a small business, Swisher Hoops really always struggles with how do we be more sustainable, how do we do more recycling, and when RAF came to me with this solution, it was the perfect solution for us.
Every 10-cent refund going straight back into helping the Scouts do what they love.
I mean, every Scout group is always going out camping, we're having adventures, and we try and make sure we do that with the best possible equipment.
It's another initiative in the long Scout tradition of helping out the community.
It's part of our Scout Promise and Law is to help other people.
The collaboration's sure to be a slam dunk. It's the closest donation point to Hobart CBD and open to members of the public to bring in their eligible containers. For local basketballers, it's also a chance to sneak in some extra shooting practice. Billy Gibbons, 7 Tasmania News.
Monday's Jack Cup final promises to be a family affair as the namesake's grandson takes to the pitch. Bradley Jack South Hobart is chasing its first title since 2019, taking on a South East United outfit chasing its first.
I mean everything. Obviously representing my family every time I play in it, so it's really the core memory I have of my grandfather, so it'd be pretty special.
Meanwhile, in the statewide cup, it's a clash of the Titans, with South Hobart going up against Devonport. South keen to take its own game up against a well-drilled strikers outfit.
We're still gelling as a unit, whereas Devonport are a little bit more, I guess, united as a team, whereas we're a bit fresh.
South Hobart has conceded just 1 goal in its cup campaign, while Devonport hasn't conceded any. After almost 3.5 years in the job, Mitch Coulson has announced his resignation as CEO of Netball Tasmania. During his tenure, Coulson was a strong advocate for a bid for a Tasmanian team in the National Netball League, a goal he'll leave unfulfilled.
There's a funding question there, but you know there's some really positive conversations in that space that I believe it shouldn't be too long until Netball Tasmania, to be frank, gets what it deserves.
He isn't leaving sport altogether, joining the Jack Jumpers executive team as General Manager of Commercial, Fan Growth and Data. He'll officially step into the role next month.
Good evening. 15 was the high across Launceston, Devonport and Burnie today, 13 in Hobart, 16 was the state's top in Swan Island, 13 in Cressy and Scottsdale and 15 across Low Head and St Helens. Areas of high cloud was seen moving across Tasmania today, with a thicker cloud band extending over the northwest in the afternoon. Further out, patchy low cloud moved through southern WA into South Australia, with the rest of the country remaining relatively cloud-free. Tomorrow, a cold front extends over Tasmania, with showers statewide, more likely about the north and west, with possible thunderstorms. Northwesterly winds tomorrow 20 to 30 knots, easing to 25 knots in the evening, swells up to 6 metres in the west and south and up to 2 metres in the north. A strong wind warning is current for the west coast, central north, Flinders Island and east coast. And a warning to sheep graziers is current for the northwest coast forecast district. Tomorrow's forecast now: Hobart, a shower or two, 12 in Medina, showers easing in Oatlands. In the north, showers easing in Launceston and Lyweenie, 13 in Devonport. Burnie and Marraward tomorrow, 13 and showers easing, showers in Strawn. St Helens reaching 14 degrees and a shower or two in Swansea and Orford. Looking ahead to the 3-day forecast now: Sunday showers more likely about the east and southeast. Monday showers about the east and south, mostly fine elsewhere. And Tuesday showers across the east and south, easing during the morning. Capital cities 20 and sunny in Perth tomorrow. Adelaide windy with showers and 19 in Sydney. And currently Hobart cloudy and 11, Launceston 11 degrees right now, and Devonport rain and 12. That's all in weather tonight, Kim. It looks like we're in for a wet, long weekend ahead.
It does. Wet, wet, wet. Thank you, Jackie. And that is where we leave 7 Tasmania News tonight. Thanks for your company this Friday evening. Enjoy your weekend, everyone. Good night.